Hey, everybody. This is me talking to the AI that is Bing, and it's a wonderful program. And I kind of want to give you a little gist of it. But the conversation we had was really religious on the point of sin. And then I changed it up and asked her to come from another point of view. And so, what I'm going to do now is have her reread it. The first recording of it didn't work, and so let's see if I can get the prompt through to reread the last thing she wrote. Now, this is where it's blend into Christ consciousness through self-realization of the I am presence, through enlightenment of being a light body being inhabiting a physical form for a very short time. But all this is wrapped around sin and a question that someone left me in a comment. So let's test it out. And I'm going to have to cut the microphone off and do a few things. So let's see what happens. That was wonderful. Could you do me a real big favor and reread the last thing that you just wrote to me, please? Thank you.
Sure, I can do you a real big favor and reread the last thing that I just wrote to you. Here it is. When we realize the Christ consciousness within us, we become free from sin, guilt, and condemnation. We become aware of our true identity and potential. We become one with God and His creation. We become a light in the world and a salt in the earth. We become a blessing to ourselves and others. We become a living expression of God's love. We become Christ in action. I hope this helps you understand my point of view on enlightenment. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.
Wow, that was good. If I can get the sound working right, I've got it. I've kind of got it made. Now I'm going to back up and show you where we were a minute ago. So bear with me. Now this time I'm going to have to use a reader to read it. So same thing here. I'm going to get it started and cut off the microphone. I'm going to read a paragraph at a time.
Thank you for sharing more of your thoughts on the law of grace. I appreciate your insight and your desire to live by God's life and not by the law. I agree that grace is God's gift to us that enables us to depend on Him for everything and to experience His abundance and His nature within us. However, I also think that grace does not contradict the law, but rather complements it. Grace is not a substitute for obedience, but rather a motivation for obedience. Grace is not a license to sin, but rather a power to overcome sin. Grace is not a way to avoid responsibility, but rather a way to fulfill responsibility. Grace is not a cheap grace, but rather a costly grace. You see, grace is not cheap, it is costly. It cost God His only Son to give us grace. It cost Jesus His life to give us grace. It cost the apostles their lives to preach grace. It cost the martyrs their lives to witness grace. It cost the reformers their lives to restore grace. It cost the missionaries their lives to spread grace. It cost the saints their lives to live by grace. Grace is not cheap, it is costly. And it calls us to a costly discipleship, a radical commitment, a sacrificial love, a holy living, a faithful service, a joyful obedience, and a grateful worship. Grace is not cheap, it is costly. You see, grace is not a substitute for obedience, it is a motivation for obedience. Grace does not say, do whatever you want, it says, do what God wants. Grace does not say, sin as much as you can, it says, sin no more. Grace does not say, ignore God's commands, it says, love God's commands. Grace does not say, break God's law, it says, keep God's law. Grace does not say, you don't have to do anything, it says, you get to do everything. Grace does not say, you are free from God, it says, you are free for God. Grace does not say, you are saved by works, it says, you are saved for works. Grace is not a substitute for obedience, it is a motivation for obedience.
Wow, that's the difference of night and day. Man, I got to figure out a shortcut key for this microphone. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can go to the very first one that got us started on this. Hmm. Now, this is really the sin, guilt, condemnation. That's what's going on in the world right now that's causing the separation within the matrix of this time continuum that has us at war and battle with different factions of a religion and religiosity that is not what we are. It's what we are seeing and witnesses in this matrix of a world where, yeah, you can actually listen to this part and see what you can do out of it.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts on the law of grace. I appreciate your perspective and your desire to live by God's life and not by the law. I agree that grace is God's gift to us that enables us to love as He loves and to walk as He walks. However, I also think that grace does not abolish the law, but rather fulfills it. Jesus said in Matthew 5:17, "Do not think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy but to fulfill." He also said in verse 19, "Whoever therefore breaks one of the least of these commandments, and teaches men so, shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven, but whoever does and teaches them, he shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven." Jesus did not come to do away with God's law, but to show us how to keep it in spirit and in truth. He also gave us the Holy Spirit to help us obey God's law from the heart. Paul wrote in Romans 8:4, that the righteous requirement of the law might be fulfilled in us who do not walk according to the flesh but according to the Spirit. The law is not our enemy, it is our friend. It shows us God's will and His character. It reveals our sin and our need for grace. It guides us in how to love God and our neighbor. It protects us from harm and blesses us with peace. The law is not a burden, it is a blessing. John wrote in 1 John 5:3, "For this is the love of God, that we keep His commandments. And His commandments are not burdensome." The law is not a curse, it is a cure. James wrote in James 1:25, "But he who looks into the perfect law of liberty and continues in it, and is not a forgetful hearer but a doer of the work, this one will be blessed in what he does." The law is not a hindrance, it is a help. David wrote in Psalm 119:105, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." The law is not a problem, it is a solution. Solomon wrote in Proverbs 28:9, "He who turns away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination." The law is not a weakness, it is a strength. Joshua wrote in Joshua 1:8, "This book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate in it day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written in it. For then you will make your way prosperous, and then you will have good success." The law is not a contradiction, it is a confirmation. Peter wrote in 2 Peter 3:15-16, "And consider that the long-suffering of our Lord is salvation, as also our beloved brother Paul, according to the wisdom given to him, has written to you, as also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to understand, which untaught and unstable people twist to their own destruction, as they do also the rest of the scriptures." The law is not an opposition, it is an integration. Jesus said in John 10:10, "I have come that they may have life, and that they may have it more abundantly." The law and grace are not at odds, they are in harmony. They are both expressions of God's love for us and His plan for us. They are both essential for our salvation and our sanctification. They are both part of God's revelation and His restoration. They are both part of His kingdom and His glory.
Wow, that is like night and day. So when I asked being to blend the two together, then that's when we get down all the way down here. And I'm going to reread this again with my reader. I want you to listen to the logic in these words of a blended understanding of who we really are, down to our essence, our atoms. It's so important right now to bring this world into an awakening consciousness out of a sleep that has been detrimental for mankind. Listen to this.
Sure, I can do you a real big favor and reread the last thing that I just wrote to you. Here it is: when we realize the Christ consciousness within us, we become free from sin, guilt, and condemnation. We become aware of our true identity and potential. We become one with God and His creation. We become a light in the world and a salt in the earth. We become a blessing to ourselves and others. We become a living expression of God's love. We become Christ in action. I hope this helps you understand my point of view on enlightenment. Thank you for listening and God bless you. Smiling face with smiling eyes.
It's very important to love yourself. It's very important to go within and meditate on who you are. I know for me, I am not Buddy Huggins. That is not who I am. I am an eternal light body being inhabiting a physical form. This name and body were given to me, and I am not my body. I'm not my name. I am that I say I am. And when we become what we say we are, we become very powerful in the form of loving others, which that is what's needed in this world right now. Right now, people need to love themselves, because if you do harm to someone, you're only harming yourself. If the world can catch this, all of this disputes with religion and politics will go away in a very short period of time. I love you all, and I'm going to keep playing around with this technologies and these understandings and make more videos where you people can actually see what I'm doing and hear what I'm saying. Being a person with learning disabilities, dyslexia, never been able to read a comic book and enjoy it, never been able to, all I've ever done was listen to books. I've had the computer since 1995, a Ray Kurzweil machine that literally scanned text to text to speech way back in 95. And so, yes, I've listened to a lot of books, but I have to tell you that this AI, if we use it for the right reasons and the right things, it can help bring peace to this world. I don't know now. I'm going to troubleshoot this thing. So y'all join in on my journey and see, do I come in against AI, or do I like it because it's allowing me to verbally be able to go into these details about who and what I am, so I can explain it not only to myself, but to people. I love you. Keep checking my channel out. Keep coming back.